Tammy Johnson here from ESA Connection. I'm with Molly Coy from Coy's Camps and Classes here in Tucson, and we're so excited to talk to her about all things education. So first of all, why should young people have a hobby?
Well, it's important to have a hobby because it's a way to relax and reduce stress. And it also can sometimes help you kind of realize what you want to do later in life anyway as a goal.
Absolutely. I know one of your camps and classes that you offer is chess.
Yes.
So what does it take to be a chess master?
It takes a lot of hard work to be a chess master. In fact, we joke that chess is easy to learn, difficult to master. And in fact, even our instructor, who's considered expert level, still takes lessons himself from a grandmaster. So you can learn that you just never stop learning. But there's a lot of life skills involved in chess, which is really great, learning to take turns. There's a rule about if you touch a piece, you must move it. So you learn to think first before acting or reacting. So just a lot of great life skills built into the chess education.
And I know that's a huge component of your classes that you offer. So what are some of your classes that you offer to help students become chess masters, which seems like that's a never-ending lifelong learning experience, but how do you help them as teens and young kids to achieve that goal?
So we have weekly lessons, and we also run our own tournaments. I'm a certified U.S. Chess Tournament Director, so our tournaments are actually rated through U.S. Chess. With the exception of our camps, we have a fun tournament at the end of each camp, and that one's not rated. It's important for kids to learn to be persistent so that they can improve, but also to attend with some sort of regularity. Like, you don't want to sign up for a 10-class pass and show up once every 3 years. You're not going to benefit from that, but to come at least weekly, and also to work outside of the classes. For example, we tell people that your NFL football players and your basketball players, they don't just show up for the game and play. They actually study and practice and work towards it for several hours on each day in between. And while we don't expect our students to be doing 4 or 5 hours a day, we do expect a little bit of practice in between, but we give them the access to the tools to do that.
And then you understand that correlation between you practicing will make you a better performer in this skill, in this art. So,
exactly. If you're a prodigy, it'll still only take you so far, and you still got to work.
So I hear that, everyone. Kids, you need to practice. Practice. That's for anything in life. If you have a passion, you're only going to get better by doing it.
Exactly.
We only can take you so far.
Right. Especially if you want to beat the instructor someday.
So now you have some robotic programs too, which is really exciting because robotics is another new area that people are getting really excited about. And also we need for that underlining coding skills and mindset for all the new technology jobs that are available to the youth today. So tell me a little bit about your robotics program, and then also so you mentioned chess really develops a lot of life skills. So I wonder if robotics does the same, if there's a lot of life skills development also in robotics.
I believe there is, especially with the coding. You really have to pay attention to detail, because you can think that you got every part right and all of a sudden your robot does something wrong, and you have to have that patience to go back and go through all of the coding. And sometimes that might mean you need to kind of take a little break and then come back and re-see it, or work with a partner and have them help you see where you made the mistake. And sometimes you just look through for yourself. So it helps you be aware of what you're doing and also able to go back and reanalyze what you're doing. Just like in chess, if you play a game and you record your game, you can go back and analyze your game after.
Awesome. So another area that you're passionate about besides doing the camps and classes is you're adding on in the fall a micro school. So tell me about your passion with a micro school. Like, why is that one more area that you want to support learners in?
Yeah, so we're really excited about the micro school because as a former elementary teacher myself, I've really been missing the teaching of the kids. And I'm not a high enough level chess player to teach the chess. I can teach the tournament rules, but not how to become a great player. And I'm not that great. I don't have the engineering background in that our robotics instructor has, but I do miss the teaching. And we're also really excited to bring in like a young entrepreneur's point of view to our micro school, because even with all the STEM out there and the STEAM, and we need those areas, it's very important to understand that most of that still works within a business context. And if you watch, I tell people, if you watch Shark Tank, they don't really, the investors don't really ask, how is that exactly working? And I need to know all the inner workings. They just want to know, how does that make me money? And while we want to help the earth and help people, it all still comes down to, you've got to make a profit and you've got to understand how that works. And so we want to start introducing those young entrepreneur skills so that when they're ready to come out with their big invention, they know how to check the costs involved. They know how to look for a good investor. They know how to sign a contract without being cheated in the contract. There's a lot of those skills, and I feel like they've been kind of left to the wayside in recent years in favor of STEM, when in actuality, they work together.
Oh my goodness, that's such a valid point. Such a valid point. I love that you're making more a well-rounded individual, because sometimes we do get fixated on like one idea or one interest, but we forget that there's other pieces that go with it.
Right.
And that's what really will make them strong in that area, knowing how to do both business and your talent.
Exactly.
So I love that. And so you're going to incorporate, because you have business camps now that you do, and that is an area that you're supporting learners in. So you're going to be adding your business camp and all that curriculum into the micro school then.
Exactly. So the Young Entrepreneurs Camp topics will be spread out. We're actually hoping to do a Genius Hour unit to help them kind of see what they're passionate about and where they want to kind of angle their little business in that. And our first Young Entrepreneurs Camp was such a success that we even have one student who's selling her crocheted items on one of our shelves. And it's so fun to watch and have her come in and get her pay.
Oh, that's so exciting. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Those are so much fun when you get that direct correlation and you see that output and stuff. It's so exciting. And you're right. Kids are not waiting until they're 18 and graduated to start businesses. There's so many young kid businesses now, and it's possible, right? Especially with social media and just the way our society has grown, and just that connection that we have with people. They can have businesses now, and kids have great ideas.
Exactly. And while some stick with the lemonade stand, some take it to a higher power. I've even seen about a little boy who created a lemonade stand and then basically franchised out his lemonade stands.
That's amazing.
And so it's just awesome to see what the kids are coming up with, and they still have that open-mindedness for a lot of creativity. So this is the time to catch them and let them learn about those skills, and then take it to where it can go. And businesses do fail at times, and then they can learn from that. And why not learn while you're younger, so that when you do have to support a family, you're already that much further in the game.
Well, that's a good point that you make, and all the sharks and Shark Tanks will say that too. You're seeing their successes of their businesses, but they've had so many failures.
Right.
So every failure is a success. And I know as parents, we so much want our children to only have the successes. We have to remember that failures are important. We all have failures in our life too.
Right. And in fact, going back to the chat, as we often do, we have a big saying that's win, draw, or learn instead of win, draw, or lose. Because as long as you learn from your losses, then you have a win.
Win, draw, or learn. Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's fantastic. Oh my goodness, that's great. Molly, thank you so much for talking to us today. And we're so excited about what you're innovating and creating down here in Tucson for learners. So please check out boys camps and classes. So please make sure that you check her out and see everything that she's innovating and creating down here in Tucson for learners. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.